Good afternoon. Welcome to the news update on Dominion Television, Ibadan. I'm Oluwaimi Adelakun. Nigeria has endorsed proposed institutional reforms within the African Union, AU, focusing on peace and security governance, strengthening democratic institutions, and enhancing cooperation with international financial institutions and the private sector. President Bola Tinubu's position was presented by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the closed session of the 39th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, stating that Nigeria also aligned with restructuring effort aimed at boosting domestic and regional resource mobilization for affordable development financing. On tackling transaction organized crime and promoting the blue economy, Shettima pledged Nigeria's commitment to hosting the task force headquarters and providing infrastructure, including office facilities, ships, helicopters, and temporary staff. The National Assembly will resume plenary sessions tomorrow, February 17, amid expectations that the long-awaited Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026 may be considered for passage. In a statement, the clerk to the National Assembly, Kamoru Ogunlana, informed lawmakers that the Senate and the House of Representatives will reconvene plenary sessions at 11 a.m. tomorrow, urging members to adjust their schedules for full attendance. Meanwhile, a separate notice from the clerk of the Senate, Emmanuel Odo, indicated that the directive came from the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio. Similarly, the House of Representatives, whose spokesman Akin Rotimi confirmed the resumption, noted that the emergency sitting follows the release of the 2027 general election timetable by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee has dismissed as false a viral video claiming that new tax laws will take effect in 2027 and impose a 25% tax on funds meant for building materials and other transactions. In a statement made available to newsmen, the committee clarified that the Nigeria Tax Act 2025 had already commenced and contains no provision imposing a 25% tax on construction funds, bank balances, or business expenses. According to the committee, the Act instead introduces measures aimed at reducing house costs, encouraging real estate development, and supporting small businesses and low-income earners. The committee further urged Nigerians to rely on verified provisions of the law rather than misinformation designed to create fear and panic. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has signed a tripartite memorandum of understanding with China Gas Holdings Limited and PN Chemical Singapore Pte Limited, PCCS, creating a framework for structured collaboration across key segments of Nigeria's natural gas value chain. The MOU was signed at NNPC's headquarters in Abuja in the presence of the Group Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Bashir Bayo Ojulari, the Executive Vice President for Gas, Power and New Energy, Olaliko Gule, and the General Manager of NNPC Gas and Power Investment Services, Ibrahim Hamza. The agreement focuses on liquefied natural gas development, covering flare gas to LNG, floating LNG, and onshore LNG projects. It also encompasses gas-fired power generation and industrial facilities using domestic gas feedstock, thereby aligning international technical expertise with Nigeria's domestic energy priorities. The Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has called for an immediate and comprehensive review of the entire power sector. President of the NLC, Comrade Joe Ajaero, made the call during the National Union of Electricity Employees Annual Conference of Women and Youth in Abuja at the weekend. Comrade Ajaero lamented that over a decade after the much celebrated privatization of the power sector, electricity generation remained comically stagnant at between 4,000 and 5,000 megawatts, the same level as the pre-privatization era. Ajaero described the exercise as a fraudulent transfer of public wealth into the hands of a few speculators who lacked both the technical expertise and the financial backbone to manage the nation's electricity assets. Now, on the foreign scene, African Union leaders meeting at a two-day summit in Addis Ababa have adopted a resolution that describes slavery, deportation and colonialism as genocide and crimes against the people of Africa. The conference, through its chairman Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, also called for an end to what he called the extermination of the Palestinian people. Member states agreed to designate November 30 as the African Day of Tribute to African martyrs and victims of the transatlantic slave trade, colonization and apartheid, adding that they will keep the issue under review and work together towards the recognition of the resolution at the international level. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan suddenly announced he was postponing a visit to Abu Dhabi because Emirati leader Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan had a health problem, then deleted the message. The message posted by Erdogan's team on X said he had talked with Al Nahyan by phone, expressing his sadness over the health problem experienced by President Al Nahyan and wished him a prompt recovery. Although the message, which announced that Erdogan would travel to the United Arab Emirates at a later date, was quickly deleted from the account. Consequently, the official Emirati news agency WAM reported on a telephone conversation between the two leaders, but did not mention that Erdogan's visit had been postponed. Indonesia Army spokesperson has confirmed its readiness to deploy 1,000 troops to Gaza by early April as part of a proposed multinational peacekeeping force. Army spokesperson Doni Pramono said the final deployment decision will be made by Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto, adding that a total of 8,000 soldiers will be ready for deployment by June. Meanwhile, the board's creation was endorsed by United Nations Security Council resolution as part of the Trump administration's plan to end the war in Gaza. However, Indonesia's foreign ministry said its military participation in the UN-mandated International Stabilization Force in Gaza should not be interpreted as a normalization of political relations with any party. Talking sport, Real Madrid coach Alvaro Bello has described Trent Alexander-Arnold as a top player after his impressive display, which also earned him an assist against Real Sociedad. Reacting after the game, Bello expressed his delight with Alexander-Arnold's performance, stressing that Arnold is an absolute top player who has returned to his best form. He expressed his confidence in the England international, describing him as a great addition to the team with high hopes of more excellent contributions in the coming days. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and X at Dominion Cast. And that ends the news update on Dominion Television. I'm Oluwayemi Adelakun saying thank you for watching and good afternoon.